ready to more like football. Team come pass and go, and all we can hope is that we get a good game. I think we have one of the best referees in the country hitting this one. We have two of the best clubs in the league trying to avoid
What a pleasant way to welcome you to the program, The Freedom Weekend Sports. We have the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustapha Raji, is our guest on the program, The Freedom Weekend Sports. Lots of things to talk about in Liberian football. What is happening for football in Liberia? A few days after the national team of Liberia crashed out or missed out going to the Ever Nations Cup, this has been 2 times on his watch as president of the Liberia Football Association. LFA Congress. He was in Rwanda a couple of weeks ago for the FIFA General Congress. What is in store for football in Liberia? The LFA new headquarters project. We'll be talking a lot about it. In then few hours, the Liberia Football Association official Facebook page notified the general sporting public about a ban placed on John Wayne from DC shooters. So we'll on the program, The Freedom Weekend Sports, with me, Thomas Gojo Rolla. But just being informed, we have the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustapha Raji, as our guest this afternoon. So on the ways, we have our guest already. Mr. President, it's good to have you. Good afternoon and welcome to the Freedom Weekend Sports once again. Once again. You have to do a bit of adjustment. Okay, Mr. President, go ahead.
Pleasant afternoon, Thomas, and good afternoon to the listening public. It's a pleasure being in your studio this afternoon to discuss football and the level of development in our country and its impact nationally and the roadmap for the next cycle, 2023-2026, mandate has been given us to serve.
What is that mandate, Mr. President?
Well, we promised last year, prior to elections, football development, good governance, reform and compliance.
Okay.
And this is the pathway that's going to formulate and be included in our development plan for the next 4 years, looking at holistically a lot of other issues because football development is big. You talk about infrastructure, capacity building, development, grassroots football, women's football, youth football, and a host of other activities that we are going to be involved in as the Football Association.
We have a lot of things to discuss today, but first let's talk about you was in LFA County. What was that trip about, Mr. President?
Well, again, it's part of the football development plan, one of our priorities, area that we promise stakeholders, which includes clubs who are eligible to vote at the General Assembly and those who don't have the charge to vote, including fans as well. Usually, looking at our football ecosystem today, there are key priority areas after review with FIFA and other experts, and they emphasize and point to infrastructure development. Without good infrastructure, we would not have impossibly good players in terms of training and development. And as part of the process, during the past years, the executive committee approved the construction of a pitch in LFA County. That was the first process to approve it. Once it's approved by the executive committee, our responsibility as the secretariat is to ensure we engage those parties who owns the facility to turn it over to us either by selling it or give a long-term lease. Those are specific requirements within the FIFA 4 program that we need to follow before it can be approved. It takes a lot of time, and we thought that there was a need to accelerate it. The county authorities of LFA County was very much interested by stakeholder engagement so that the stakeholders in LFA County could understand what would be happening in terms of what benefits will be coming to the county, what benefits will be going to the youth and the citizens of the county. So we had to go to LFA, engage with the citizens. I'm happy the feedback was very positive, and I'm confident that the county authority will turn over the facility to the LFA to develop follow, develop for our football, develop for the future of Liberian football.
Okay, so let me take you back. A couple of weeks ago, you was in Rwanda, participating in the 73rd FIFA Congress here in our country, where member country overwhelmingly voted Gianni Infantino. We want to know, 8 years to Gianni Infantino as president of the Liberia or president of the world governing body of football in another 4 years. How has it affected football globally?
Well, looking at the global impact, I would like to first stress on the emphasis of Africa, because that's where we are, a part of the member association of CAF. Today, we've heard before about the numerous projects that was around, FIFA Forward 1.0, FIFA Forward 2.0, 3.0 now.
Okay.
And believe in me, around a huge percentage of the member associations in Africa depend on the FIFA Forward program that was introduced by President Gianni Infantino. FIFA Forward, but there are a couple of other programs introduced: support for women's football, support for youth football, support for academies, capacity building, training of referees, training of coaches. So a lot of these things were introduced to make football fully global, completely global, to ensure that you try reducing the gaps between those who have more money than those who don't have, or who face challenges in the economy. So it's something that President Infantino introduced that we appreciate. We also work with him. I'm proud that we developed a proposal working with the team at FIFA. And yes, Liberia proposal is accepted so that we can have a youth World Cup every year. A proposal that was overwhelmingly endorsed by the FIFA General Assembly, or around 180 plus voted in favor of that proposal that we submitted. And we feel excited that, yes, the FIFA president is looking in terms of youth football development, in terms of bridging the gaps between countries that have and don't have, in terms of looking at how we grow women's football, increase participation in football, looking at how we create opportunity for women's involvement in football, women's participation in football, in leadership, and not just those who are playing football, developing a pathway, not just about national teams, looking at club football, looking at academies, and giving opportunity to football development in Africa and around the world.
Okay. And I guess with all of what you have said and been visiting FIFA programs where Gianni Infantino been attending, I guess you've been having some closed-door conversation with President of Liberia. If so, what are some of those things you have said to Gianni that you think will manifest in a very soon or possible time?
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but there's a huge impact today. Under the FIFA Forward 2.0 program, you can only receive funding. Okay, you could only receive funding from FIFA, and you have to check the regulations 2.0. If you have a functional technical center, a headquarter, and one stadium that meets international standard. Did we have those things in place? No, we did not have it. But based on what we presented, giving the level of collaboration and support from the executive committee, we were able to convince FIFA and put the case before them that Liberia is on the pathway to meet up with all of those requirements and regulations put in place by FIFA. And a lot of things have been coming to us. FIFA had seen in terms of the progress we've made, evidenced by the visit of the FIFA president. It's not something that I would like to boast of, but you all heard his comments, including that of CAF, that if we are not needed in Liberia, CAF and FIFA needs our services. So it's something that we're proud of, that we are representing our country ably out there. We are engaging with all member associations for support to our country to develop football. We are not there yet, but we see that there's a huge possibility if we follow the review after we got those results from ecosystem review by FIFA. I feel very positive that there's a lot that's going to happen, and there's a lot of team members from FIFA that will be coming. A few months ago, we had the capacity for women's football. That's part of the engagement we've made. We had support for lowest league development. That's part of those initiatives we made. Of recent, we had the TDS scheme coordinator visiting Liberia, a talent development scheme launched by FIFA. So a lot of engagement, and we want to accelerate that to make more gains collectively, and with the support of each and every one of you, we can even make it far more better and faster to reach our goals.
If you're just joining us, you are listening to the program, The Freedom Weekend Sports, that comes away every Saturday from 12:30 to 1:30. We have the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustapha Raji, as our guest. And Mr. President, let me take you to the scoreboard. It's been nearly a month since we last spoke about the electronic scoreboard. What's the start of it?
Well, thank you very much, Thomas. First, I'd like to just maybe provide more information to people because, yes, maybe we're excited that we had this product, it got affected. I have a background, long-term background, 18 years plus in telecommunications. We have equipment that you purchase from the factory that arrive that don't function.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that due diligence was not conducted and so forth. The scope was installed. We all saw it working. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues where some of the boats got damaged. I'm proud and very happy. Like I told you, the card is here. Arrive at the RIA should be cleared by I think today or on Monday, so it can be reinserted. Like I stated on your program, this product or this equipment is on a warranty. So it's not something that we just bought without any warranty. It's covered by warranty. Our responsibility is also ensure that it's properly maintained. And we are happy that FIFA, who arranged with the company Daktronic, were able to send new replacement parts. We've also, on our part, shipped the 40 parts to the vendor to have it in his possession. So they've replaced the parts. And our team, once we cleared from customs, will install the scope and return to functioning.
Mr. President, what do you think that scope didn't last long? And what's the actual cost of it?
Well, I don't really understand if you say it didn't last long because you can buy a car today and it developed mechanical fault. So it doesn't mean because it developed mechanical fault, that means not worthy of the price that was paid for it. The scope was around 300,000, not for the scoreboard. This project to just give more information, insight, Thomas, about FIFA programs. The first thing that was done in order to have this scoreboard approved, we had to go to the executive committee to whether or not we need a scoreboard at the ATS. And the pathway in terms of putting such a scoreboard at the ATS to see how we can certify and qualify the ATS for international matches. Executive committee approved. We then requested FIFA, not for us to do the project, but for FIFA to proceed with the tender and then launch a full-fledged project. So FIFA did tender on behalf of the Football Association, engaged with local companies, awarded the contract to the local company. We, on our part, was responsible to engage with the EPA because you needed to get a permit from the EPA. That cost money. We also needed to get permit from the Ministry of Public Works. It also cost money. We also had to conduct soil tests, cost money. So you can get involved with a lot of engineers. They'll tell the process in terms of putting such a structure down. All of those information submitted to FIFA. FIFA then came back in terms of engaging with the contractor to decide on the overall cost to decommission. Remember, there was some other structure there. It needed to be decommissioned. Decommissioning process involved costs. They also split the project into two. One to supply the scoreboard from Daktronic, another to construct the structure that you have there by CSAF Liberia. So if you look, you have some structure that is supporting the scoreboard that was imported by CSAF, by sea. So all of those costs combined, totaling to $300,000. Now, this money wasn't paid, never a cent paid to the LFA. LFA, CSAF worked along with the contractor. Based on the progress the contractors made, the payment will be released by FIFA directly to the contractor. We, as the LFA, wanted an end product, a scoreboard, state-of-the-art scoreboard that is very interactive. That is what we received. The FIFA consultants came, they validated the project. FIFA team came and also validated the project. However, and unfortunately, yes, we had the electrical fault that some of the components within the scoreboard. But again, it's under warranty and the replacement part has been sent to the LFA. And it's something that I'm happy and excited about.
You started a project, the first of its kind for the Liberia Football Association to have its own headquarters. Want to know the status of that headquarters project?
Okay, so first and foremost, I'd like to say thanks, extend my thanks and appreciation to the past administration. We joined the LFA in 2018, came with a platform that we constructed the first ever LFA headquarters. When we got there, during our review process, we realized that there was a tender already done with a price determined around 1.4 million. And that was CSAF that won the bid. So we, as that past executive committee, decided to proceed further because we could not cancel what the past administration did because they went through the necessary process headed by past Vice President Musa Shannon.
Okay.
So kudos to the committee that who sat and review the bids submitted by those companies and selected CSAP. What we did on our part was to engage with FIFA, went through the process in terms of due diligence, all of the different requirements, getting the consultant, notifying FIFA, and a contract. There was no contract ever signed for that headquarters. The contract was signed in 2020. The contract for the headquarters was signed. I think there was a program where journalists attended after we fulfilled all of the requirements put in by FIFA. Unfortunately, during the commencement of the project, the initial place was not satisfactory. That project was headed by or supported by the then Vice President of Operation who went with the team. I think CSAF lost 2 of its equipments because of the soil component. They needed to go, I think, around 4 meters. And unfortunately, we could not proceed with the project. So we transferred to another location owned by the LFA. And I'm happy and proud today to announce that the headquarters finished, completed. We've received the headquarters from the contractors. We are now working along with the government of Liberia, working with FIFA. Initially, we scheduled to have the headquarters on time to also host Congress. But based on the scheduling provided by FIFA and the schedule of His Excellency, because it's a milestone project, historic project, first of its kind of facility owned by the Football Association, we thought that there was a need to have His Excellency at the program, the dedication ceremony, and who's funding the project? A project fully funded by FIFA.
And when do we expect it to be dedicated?
So we've gotten now a final information that the 28th we can proceed to do on the 8th. We are pushing to see if we can have the president of FIFA. Mind you, have the Women's World Cup that will be taking place in New Zealand. Okay. So we're trying to push as much as possible to have the presence of the president of FIFA or the Secretary General of FIFA available for the dedication ceremony, or the designated member that will come from FIFA to participate in the program.
Around the headquarter project has to do with the issue of furniture.
Yes.
There is this news of 70,000. Mr. President, tell more about this furniture news and this 70,000.
Okay, so Thomas, I would like to throw a challenge to our journalists, out there, sport writers, print, electronic media. Go to the LFA and follow the process. You can go to the LFA headquarters. There's no furniture there. Like I stated, we have series of process and procedures we have to follow at the LFA. This LFA don't just jump and purchase things. Okay. So the first thing that was done was that we held an executive committee meeting to approve the purchase of furniture to furnish the LFA headquarters. Okay. That's a requirement, and those documents need to be sent to FIFA in terms of when you made that decision. The second process is to also give approval to the secretary to launch an RFQ, okay, which is done. The process is also chaired by the first Vice President, Mr. Stu Connor, including the procurement manager and other staffs of the LFA. Like it was done with the headquarters chair by former Vice President Musa Shannon, the same process we went through. After that procedure, the committee, then the internal committee at the LFA, then decided based on the costing provided by all of the companies here in Liberia and not in anywhere far, so you guys can follow that up. They recommended this company around $71,000 for all of the equipment, furniture at the headquarters. The next procedure was to get the validation of the bid evaluation committee. It's an independent committee, doesn't include anyone that's working with LFA. We received that validation. The next process was to also inform our stakeholders. Now, we do not want to go into a process where we are purchasing equipment or requesting for the approval of equipment without notifying our stakeholders. Okay. So we did a communication as the LFA to notify our stakeholders that we've gone through this process and we will be purchasing equipment for the headquarters cost around $71,000 United States dollars. And this is the name of the company. This is the standard procedure we've always followed since we took over the LFA. We send that communication, and copy of that document will be also submitted to FIFA to inform the FIFA Development Committee that, look, we've notified our stakeholders in terms of the company that will be awarded, that we provide the furniture for the headquarters. The next thing was to develop, we have a form, a specific form that you need to fill in. You also need to do a business plan to justify to FIFA the impact. Why do you need the furniture? You need to explain what impact, what is this going to, how is it going to benefit, how is it going to support football. All of the explanation, you need to go through them. And then another letter that we needed to write as a secretariat to the executive committee, informing them that, look, the final thing is about the headquarters, the furniture for the headquarters cost 71,000. All of those documents will be sent as an application to our regional office. Regional office in Senegal will analyze it, send to the FIFA DEFCO, the development committee. Development committee will have to review. Okay, if they have questions, we'll ask you questions. If they don't have questions, they will send you a statement approval, meaning they've approved, okay, this project. There is no money that's been taken from the LFA account because this doesn't come from the LFA operation account. It's come from the project funds. So then they will notify the project department. After everything, they'll go through the finance in FIFA. FIFA will transfer the payment to the LFA. LFA transfer the payment to the vendor. The vendor deliver the furniture to the LFA for its use. That is just the process that we go through. Now, as a journalist, I'm asking you, I need you to go to the LFA, check and see if there's anything missing from this process. This is a standard process, not just with the furniture, with the artificial turf, with the scoreboard, with the stadium light. This is a standard process that we have to go through. So up to date, we've not gotten the approval from FIFA to put any furniture at the headquarters, and there's no furniture there. So we've not purchased any furniture.
We have the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustapha Raji, as our guest on the program, The Freedom Weekend Sports. If you just joined you, Mr. President, I'll move on to another issues have to do with the national team. We can't close again, but for the second time on your watch as president of the the Liberia Football Association, superseding the national team, we didn't qualify for the second time on your watch. What happened this time?
Well, true. And Thomas, I cannot measure the hurt, disappointment of the citizens. I cannot measure that of you. I cannot measure it to that of mine. We are all hurt. We were all disappointed. We thought that, yes, we got so close in a very short period of time. And it was a very good opportunity for us to qualify. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. That doesn't mean that it's impossible that we'll never qualify. We believe that the team did its best. Our apologies again to the citizens of the country who trooped to the SKD to support, who worked over the period to get the $500 Liberian dollars to go and watch and support the red, white, and blue. Unfortunately, we did not succeed, but we are now going back. The Technical Development Committee is going back to review what happened, engaging with the national team technical staff to see how we can improve and perform better when we come during the next competition, beginning with the CHAN.
4 games, 2 in the CHAN qualifier, 2 in the AFCON qualifier, a win, 2 defeat, a draw. Do you still believe in Coach Asu Keita?
Well, the coach was given a mandate based on experts who sat as members of the Technical Development Committee, citizens of Liberia, sons of the soil, who have very expertise in different areas, in area of coaching, area of administration, and recommended with the support of the executive committee. We all agree. Yes, we all believe in Keita as a coach. We hope that they can deliver during the CHAN. Coaches are hired around the world to win. Sometimes they don't win. It doesn't mean that they are not good coaches. So we are very positive and hopeful, and we hope to see a difference in terms of performance. And now it's all local-based players. People have been calling, opponents have been calling for local-based players to represent the national team. We hope that this time around is 100% local-based players participating in the CHAN, and we hope to see something different in terms of its performance.
Sometime 2022, you guys announced about the launch of an investigation into the dislocation of the under-17 national team that won the Mauritania. How far are we, Mr. President?
Well, the committee is headed by another elected member, Mr. Seta Dolo. I believe they're compiling their reports. It's an investigation. As president, we took responsibility in terms of what happened. Today, one is only looking at Liberia. We've also questioned a lot of different things. Senegal, who participated in the competition, who who qualified for the final tournament along with Mali today. Some of his players have now been tested and detected that they didn't pass the MRI test after participating. So this is something that is big. We are looking at how we can fix it. But at the level of CAF, on the executive committee, we made some changes. Just thought to throw this in to inform the general public, because we realized as CAF that there's also been issues where the MRI machine reported wrong results. So we've extended the number of players to 3 players. Okay. You must have 3 players who failed the test before a country can be disqualified. Okay. However, there were issues, I believe, on our part in Liberia in terms of checks, due diligence with the players in terms of those that were underage and those results that came out from the MRI. And we think the best process is to go back and see how we can screen and eliminate that. Mind you, we have youth competitions going. We're not conducting those tests because it's expensive to put any U15 team to go and do an MRI test in Liberia. The equipment we have is around 0.8 Celsa, and the full requirement is 1.5. We're hoping that sometimes some of our medical institutions can bring such equipment, make it easier for us. But we will try as much as possible, and that's the reason why we're enforcing registration process using school football that we're about to launch from the level of under 8 to under 12.
Many are concerned, why is it the investigation is taking long than what happened a couple of days ago that we now have results from the issues with players from Nigeria on DC shooters that led to 1-1 ban of John Wayne?
Well, it's unfortunate that people will be like saying that it was short. I wouldn't want to measure. I was in Algeria for the CHAN competition in Algeria in January, and during that period, I mean, in a meeting with the president of the Nigerian Federation and other federation presidents, we saw this release on Facebook. I mean, it was shocking to me, and parties started engagement, not just from the Nigerian FA, from CAF, because, you know, now people are talking about safeguarding in terms of women's football. And the executive committee member and vice president, acting president, Mr. Sekou Kone, and Mr. Dolo, thought to get involved and see how we could address it, because it was something that came about players. We thought to calm the situation down first, because we had issues where players were talking about benefits and, you know, threat to their safety. So we got in to see how we could calm the situation down. Investigation started with an independent committee. What we can do is to continually remind the committee. Committee is chaired by Councillor Kula Jackson, co-chaired by Mr. Gabriel Montgomery from the LRA, and veteran Joseph Fakoli. These are, I mean, sons of the soil, professional people. We kept pushing, and sometimes it takes a process in terms of investigating to just come down to make a decision on an individual or an entire club. So I think, yes, the process sometimes should be accelerated. But unfortunately, I mean, we don't have control over the independent committee in terms of when they should come up to provide the results, especially when they believe that they need to conduct more investigation before coming up.
And let's stay with the youth national team. You spoke a while ago about a trip to Saudi Arabia involving the youth national team that have to do with the female males, including the referee as well. The referee gone, they are now back in country. What about the players? Why is it up to now no update?
Well, Thomas, you know, sometimes when you engage with people, when you engage with members association, it doesn't mean, or it doesn't just look like you're switching the lights on and off. When you do these engagements, there are commitments that are made by these members association or these partners. They made a commitment. I think it's positive. It's a huge list of commitments the Saudi association made. The first was to train our referees. 6 referees left from here at the expense of the Saudi Federation. We didn't spend a dime. Tickets were purchased, accommodation provided, feeding provided to those referees, and everything at the expense of the Saudi Football Federation. Part of that is to provide us equipment. They've also gone through the procurement process because they have the structures there. We're going to be getting those equipment for referee very soon. They've also pushed with the purchase of 6,000 footballs, Puma balls. They prefer Puma balls to be sent to Liberia. The under 17 women's program, it's also on the way. It's under the planning stage. Mind you, we are in the fasting period, and the weather condition in Saudi is not like Liberia. It's very, very hot there. And they are looking for the most suitable and flexible time to arrange this competition. The only sticker issue is about the Challenge Cup that we tried to arrange here in Liberia. They've been looking at the time. Mind you, they were engaged with the World Cup. They were engaged in other activities. But I'm very hopeful and positive that it's not something like a joke. It's something that they mean. There's an MOU in place between the two member associations. I'm happy that we were able to engage and bring something back for Liberia, for our country, because we are responsible to serve and solicit support for the betterment and development of our country, and everything is on course. I'm very, very positive those things are going to happen.
Well, let's move on to the National League. We have 2 games to end the first division. The second division is well on course. We see at the bottom rock, Invisible 11 East, Nima United, Jubilee, Freeport are all fighting to survive. At the top, let's go big crown champions. They can get a win this weekend, being out in there. Mr. President, do you think we have had a competitive league for the 2022-2023 league season?
Well, in my opinion, I would like to say yes. It's far better than the one during the last season. Again, we thought about increasing the number of teams. We wonder why we increased the number of teams. We didn't just jump up to increase the number of teams. We brought experts to the country to do a study of our football ecosystem. The recommendation was that our teams need to play more games. Our teams need to play more games to increase, performance level of our players. And today we see there's huge competition, Thomas, at the top of the table. People are still fighting. B Mounting and Liska are still battling. There's a possibility that Liska can lose to Heavy 11 and B Mounting reduce the gap by 3 points.
And just a point.
And yes,
if they can get a win.
And yes, and there will be a point difference. And it's not impossible that Sandy can defeat Liska to and B Mounting the cup. Looking down there also is troubling. A lot of competition there. It seemed like the second division you see in Freeport, NPA, because Basiga. We see him on the daily basis pushing his guys, motivating them, huge bonuses. They kept leading the table, and all of a sudden there was just a small slip. We've seen Global Farmer now, big giant pushing. So I'm very excited that we are seeing this. We want more to take place. We want to restore what happened years back. So it's a gradual process. It's not just going to happen overnight, because there are other factors that need to be involved in terms of support, sponsorship to the league, more sponsorship and support from government, quality in terms of officiating of referee, quality in terms of development of quality players, talented players by our coaches, professional medics that can treat our players to ensure that they are injury free. So a lot of factors involved, and we're hoping that we can get there step by step in just not an overnight team.
There have been issues of allegation for the past 2 seasons. We want to know if there are plans by the Liberia Football Association to prevent this one, meaning at the end of the league season, where we see players get goals, bags of goals, and we see teams being whipped the way in which they're not being performing in the opening or the middle of the league to avoid the issue of the alleged match fixing.
Thomas, a very difficult situation to handle. Very difficult because, yes, you assume by watching a game that, okay, something went wrong. How do you get to the bottom of it? It's a big challenge. Yes, we have people out there listening to investigate, but the issue of match fixing is not something that you just in 2 minutes get over. It's very difficult. We are hoping that we can put in a lot of system to tackle this. Now people are looking at, the committee is reviewing in terms of the LFA award, because some believe that is a major contributor towards players or people planning or fixing matches. So the intent or the thought is that some of these catch awards should be scraped off and maybe be giving, maybe we just give awards to the players that it's not of money, intent of catch, So it's something we're looking at, but it's very difficult to handle. Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
A couple of days ago, there was a press conference held by those who want to term as critics to your leadership at the hands of football, Emmett Glasgow and that of Chris Giblewea. They accuse you of conflict of interest. You being at Orange, and being president of the Liberia Football Association. Mr. President, we want a clarity of the conflict of interest. Is it you still have a dealing with Orange?
Well, so I don't really understand when you talk about conflict of interest. Under the law, I'm not a lawyer, but you can ask lawyers out there. When you are conflicted, you do not participate in decision making.
Yes, and you still traveling all of the country on Orange.
I'm traveling out of the country on Orange. On what basis? Is it on the Football Association basis on Orange duties?
And moreover, people are accusing you.
No, I want you to try to explain
this issue of the conflict of interest, Mr. President.
So how is it?
You still have a dealing with Orange?
Let me ask you. I'm a full employee of Orange, Liberia. I'm a full employee. There is no conflict. Orange is a telecommunications company. LFA is a football organization. If there's a dealing or discussion that between Orange and the LFA, I don't get involved. My signature is not affixed to sponsorship. What I've done, and I'm proud, I can tell anyone, if there's a commitment from Orange that LFA should receive and is delayed, over the period, clubs come up to me and be complaining that as a president, we won't have the sponsorship money. I'll call it Orange and find out from them what's the situation of the money. They need to pay the clubs because it's part of their obligation. Now, it seems come to rules or decisions at the LFA. As president of the LFA, I have a long link to Liska Football Club. So if there's a discussion on the table about Liska, I do not participate. I have to recuse myself. So that if one is showing a conflict of interest, I need them to come and clearly define what is the conflict of interest. If I, as an employee of Orange, is going out of the country on an assignment of Orange, how is the conflict of interest? If I'm going to do a work related to telecommunications, how is that conflict of interest? I really want you to explain that. If I'm going on the work of LFA, on the duty of LFA, on an assignment of LFA, how is that conflict of interest? We should be happy that today I'm happy and proud. And thanks to the management of Orange. Since I became president of the LFA, I barely sat at Orange. I work remotely. I barely sat at Orange. I barely sit there. So once you understand, we should look at what we want to present to the people. We should discuss football. How is it impacting? How is my job at Orange impacting football negatively? How is my job at Orange affecting the growth of Liberian football? Let them come and find it. And I just thought to clarify this because I try as much as possible not to pay attention to those who want to gain popularity at my expense. I believe as a servant to people, when we took over this, we came because we know people will say the worst about us. And we thought that it's not necessary to respond to most of them. I made up my mind that no matter what people say, I won't talk. My focus is to ensure that football is at the center of the pitch. My focus is about how we develop football, how we strengthen grassroots football development, how we strengthen youth football development, how we increase the participation of women's football. Today, I'm proud that from 7 teams participating in football over the last 25 years, we have a lot of women's teams today. We have a women's upper league with 12 teams. We have a women's lower league with 12 teams. We have a women's community league. We have a women's regional league. Our 10th vice president was just in Lofa County who participated in the closing ceremony of a women's football league. I'm talking about, focus is about protect, develop, and grow, promote the game of football in Liberia. There will be detractors, there will be critics. I love and appreciate them. I understand they want a lot to happen. We will continue to do our best. We will work in the direction of our platform that we've laid towards developing the football in our country. We'll work towards decentralizing football in our country and ensuring that whatsoever funding we receive for football will be accountable and will be used on football.
Mr. President, being full employee of Orange and then president of the Liberia Football Association, there was a deal signed between Orange and the LFA in December of last year for Orange to take over Petrotray. Now, the brand new of the FA Cup. We yet to know the length of that deal and what is in it for clubs.
Okay, so Thomas, good point. Unfortunately, we sometimes forget what happened in the past. I'm happy that, and I stand to be corrected. Before 2018, there was nothing like a sponsorship for the knockouts. We came with innovation, introduced and marketed the cup. Petrotrade got interested, and that's how I became the Petrotrade Cup. Because of the same critics during the period of the COVID, they tried to create negative publicity for the sponsor Petrotrade. And the company decided that at the end of the contract, no longer have interest because they do not want to be involved in football politics or for people to just, spew wrong information about the company.
I think when Petro took over, it was around $13 million they signed, 30 million Liberty they signed that deal for.
Yes.
But for the Orange deal, we get to know.
But then that's unfortunate, Thomas. I don't know if you've been participating in this program.
I've been following.
Okay, so if you've been following, or if the stakeholders are saying it and not aware, again, we just had a stakeholders engagement that we clearly defined it again. All right, 52,000 United States dollars. Okay, 26,000 from the first phase, 26,000 the second phase. The Orange National League is $2 United States dollars, 100,000 from the first phase, and 100,000 the second phase. Now, the beauty about this this Orange Cup, and that I appreciate, it's not just about the clubs who win the cup or who are participating on the LFA. Orange decided that whosoever wins the cup in a male category and female category, they will give 30 phones, okay? In addition to what they're paying, 30 cell phones with 30 numbers, 10 United States dollars on each of the phone for a period of 1 year to players of the champion team. The second place, 5 United States dollars on each phone, 30 phones, okay, for the second place winner, 30 players, $5 on the phone, 1 year. Same with the women's football. I'm happy that those who make the game beautiful, okay, Orange is reaching out to them, the players. Now, let's look at the overall sponsorship we're getting, Thomas. And I mean, those who are out there, I want to take the pens and paper. Today, we are getting 200,000, okay, from the Orange League. We're getting 52,000 from the Orange Cup. Let us look at what we are giving back. Today, we have 14 first division teams. Each of the first division team receives 7,000 United States dollars from the LFA. Okay. Before the commencement of the league, it receives 3,500. In the mid-season, you receive additional 3,500. That's 7,000. Okay. Each second division team, we have 16 second division teams. You do the math. 16 second division teams receive 3,000 United States dollars each. Okay. Same with the women's football. 12 women's football team receive 3,000 United States dollars each. Okay. Hope you are doing the math, because at the end, I want you to tell the general public how much money we are talking about if I've exceeded what Orange is giving us. Now, besides those amounts, okay, besides those amounts we are giving, when you win the Orange National League, the champion receives 20,000 United States dollars. I want you to add that to those amounts. The second division category, champion receives 10,000 United States dollars. The women's category received 10,000 United States dollars. We come to the knockout. The knockout is additional funding that is coming from Petrotrade, because they don't want to be a title sponsor, but they still want to give support to the LFA because we have a relationship with them. Now, if you add all of those amounts, Thomas, we come also to all of those teams who participate in international competition. If Leicester becomes the champion, LFA covers the match official indemnities full. It's approximately 14,000 United States dollars. 14,000 United States dollars went to Leicester, 14,000 United States dollars went to Watanga, 14,000 United States dollars went to Determined Girls. Tell me if it is not more than 252,000. Mind you, Thomas, the ownership of the title belongs to the LFA. What we should be doing as the LFA is not just to give all to those clubs, first division, second division, and women's football. Are they the only clubs in Liberia? No. Because they are voters, yes, they are members of Congress. They vote. But are they thinking about the club where they're in Bokonima? How do they play? When they are playing on pitches that are not turf with no gate intake, they are getting gate intake. They are getting share of the gate intake. Are those clubs getting it? But we as the LFA Executive Committee thought that, look, you know what? We will give all back to the clubs. You do the math, and I hope those who are out there are also doing the maths to understand what we are doing as this LFA. This is not the only money we are also giving to them. At the beginning of the year, as part of our own responsibility, because we want to strengthen the clubs, we are giving each first division club and a women's club and the second division club 3,000 United States dollars. Thomas, did you know that?
Mr. President, with all you have said,
yeah,
Orange taking over the FA Cup, don't you think that should have gone through a bidding process?
Well, Thomas, it's a good idea and good point. When you find yourself in an environment that no one wants to sponsor football, Why do you think Orange has been the one continuously supporting football? Orange was sponsoring even before I came. I was involved with the process when Orange engaged the LFA to provide support. By then, I was not president of the LFA. Was there any other company that was supporting it? Today, we should say thank God to Orange. Today, we should say bless Orange. I do not want to, come about other companies who were interested in this process, and it just went down the drain. Okay, there was another company, the executive committee. We were pushing. I was on the table pushing that it should not go to Orange, but another company. This company at the last minute disappointed us, disappointed the LFA, and again, Orange was the only one came crawling to solve. I'm happy. The Orange Cup is 2 years. That will be before the end of my mandate. If the stakeholders believe there is someone that can give $1 million for the league, well, we'll be happy. The league, LFA league, that was arranged. EC then, a former executive committee member, Kwewu Pepsi chaired the marketing committee and engaged Orange. I was not involved. And we are happy that we were able to increase the amount to $200,000. And that's what's going to the clubs. All of this amount goes to the clubs. So I'm happy and proud. And I'll continue to say, Thomas, keep the records. You can check. If any club is saying that they did not receive the money, well, we have the records at the LFA. All of the first division clubs receive those amounts I'm talking about around January, February. $3,000 from the subvention that we are giving as contribution from the FIFA for a program. $3,500 as part of the contribution from Orange for the beginning of the year. Those clubs again will receive based on the reportage that they make at the middle of the year, additional $3,000. If they're still in a position at first and second division club before the league commences in August or September, again they receive the sponsorship money. So we are here to serve. We are here to solicit and seek support for our players, for our teams, to ensure that they are strengthening. But it's not just about the first, second division women's football team that in the upper league or are members of Congress. We should also be thinking about the community league teams, the third division teams, grassroots football. They also need support. We are focusing and engaging other partners to see how they can be able to support them. Today, the national third division playoffs will be starting very soon, sometimes in May. 32 teams will be converging in Monserrado County. We need support. Thanks to LTC Mobile, who supported this initiative when we held the last edition in Grand Bassa County, Buchanan. So it's a lot of things we are doing. We're engaging a lot of parties. It's not just so easy to get sponsors in Liberia. And there's one thing I can tell you, because we've been engaging and continue to engage.
There have been accusing fingers from people who want them as critics to you, around a car worth 45,000, money used from LFA couple. What's it about law or about legislation that you bought a vehicle worth 45,000?
Thomas, again, like I said, it's unfortunate. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I'm blessed by the Almighty God. I've been working in telecommunications for the last 18 years. The work I do, if you check with my expertise, if you look at the salary range, you won't be talking about car. I'm not a fancy person. I'm a calm person. I took over the LFA, never prioritized getting a car. I prioritized the Secretary General and the technical director to have a car as president. I used my personal vehicle for 5 years. I fuel it. It was not fueled by the LFA. So if LFA was paying $50 a day for my vehicle, you tell me, on a part of riding a $45,000 car, the Secretary General rides a $38,000 pickup. I'm the president of the LFA, for God's sake. Let us not be personal. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the office of the president. Today I came here, someone just drove me. I really don't fancy all of those things, because you know what? When I die, I'm going to go in just one small box. But the executive committee, the Congress, those who are complaining, unfortunately, some of them were not in Congress. Congress saw this in the budget, approved it. It was sent to FIFA. FIFA approved it.
Okay.
It was purchased, not for me. It was purchased for the president of the LFA office. So tomorrow, Thomas, if I'm not the president of the LFA, what are they going to say? Are they going to say, okay, no, this time around, because it is not a Mustapha Raji, so it is okay? Let us be realistic. Let us respect our leaders. Let us respect the offices that people occupy. I don't really care about cars. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fancy person. A lot of people see me, I'm like, I just try to fit myself in any condition that I can find myself in. The major thing and our major focus is to ensure that we develop football in the country, to ensure that we keep football at the center of the pitch. And that's the reason why, whether you criticize me or you say anything about me, no problem. Let us look at the key issue about how we can develop football. Come with your contribution, come with your recommendation, and let's have a positive thought in terms of how we can develop our football. Leave my person. If you want to contribute and it's because of me you don't want to do it, then you'll be acting unfair to the country. Be that patriotic citizen. Do not think about me. Think about country first. Let us develop our football. Because tomorrow, one will complain, why is he eating food that's worth $10 US and others is, come on. It's just funny. And I don't think it's something that I should be speaking about, because if I want to buy a $45,000 car, I can buy a $45,000 car.
And I think this last question people go to the line to interact colors. Mr. President, a couple of weeks ago you spoke so early about a threatened bid. Do you think you still have popular mandate of the stakeholders to give you a threaten?
Well, Thomas, it's not about popular mandate. I'm happy and thankful. A few things I'll say. Got into football a short while. Whether I was good or not, I became vice president of WAFU. Whether I was good or not, I became a CAF executive committee member, not by by luck. I was running against a millionaire, but people saw what I could do. People believe in what I could do and what I can do up to today. And that's the reason why I keep moving. My focus is about football development. And I did not just jump out and say, and it's just wrong. But is it wrong that if I want to continue? Is it a crime? Is it not my right if I want to do so? We were in a meeting, Thomas, discussing issues about football development, discussing issues of caution from CAF. And I said, and I will repeat again, that with what CAF is coming with at the LFA, that if we bend these rules, we'll be sanctioned. I will not bend the rule in favor of any club, because we will be responsible as the LFA. And one of the stakeholders said, but Mr. President, you are speaking like you are not going to contest for a third term. I'm like, I will contest for the third term. Come on, Thomas, listen. At some point, people should not just threaten us. Tomorrow, who knows, if I walk out of here, I will die. I could die. Someone else will come and take over the LFA. No one should think that the LFA is my personal property. It's not my personal property. It's not my farm. My farm is way there in Bronzeville, okay? But we should also understand that when we sit on the table and be a discussing issue, and when we are under a hot fire, and people take it to be a joke, as leaders, there are a lot of things we go through that we don't bring to the fore. There are a lot of difficulties and challenges and positions we find ourselves in engaging with CAF and FIFA. We don't bring to the table. We try to see how we can work on it. Today, instead of people thinking about third term and whatsoever, I'm more or less focused on how we're going to get there with the FIFA 4 3.0. People are saying it's a lot of money, but FIFA came with a long list of household items that we need to meet before we can get those money. Are we thinking about how we will do it? We should be thinking about how we will do it, because if we fail, our clubs who are dependent on this support will not get it. So my responsibility as a leader is to be thinking about people saying, you're going to run for third term or whatsoever. Let's leave it. Who knows, maybe come the third term, maybe I have another job that I'm interested in. I could decide I'm not interested in looking at it. I have kids, I have responsibilities. I have family that I have to also look to. Do you know how much time football take away from my family? Do you know how much time football take from my people, my kids? Okay? Personal investment that I have. So there are a lot of things we should be more or less focused on. If someone wants to run, Thomas, come the third term, why are they worried or afraid that I want to run? Come, let's join the four. If you defeat me, well, I support you, congratulate you. I will still be in football and support the initiative of football development. I'm not going to stay away. I'm going to still be in football continuously, because we are here to develop football. We are here to serve our people. We are here to serve you. We want all of us put aside our differences, our personal differences, come to the table and say, you are running this league in the wrong way. I recommend we run it this way. Let's sit on the table and agree. We can disagree to agree to make Liberia better. By sitting on the fence and condemning, you just make it difficult for the process of football development.
Mustapha Raji is the president of the Liberia Football Association. He's my guest on the program, Freedom Weekend Sports. Go to the line, interact with our callers. Call us on 0776-104-104, 0776-104-104, 086500-104. Those of you outside Liberia, you want to form part of the conversation, call us on +231 86 500 104 and be live on the program, The Freedom Weekend Sport. The president of the Liberia Football Association, hello. This person, hello. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, teacher was just calling for the power of Putin.
Go ahead.
I appreciate the Facebook for whatever you are joining our Liberia football. But President, I want to ask you a question. President, the last time you came on to fee, all the other areas, local class, I said you have a low fee. I want to see situation it's just going down. The last time you're coming to see, but it will not have any impact on fee. So I want to know how far you are going on with the project on fee. Please, I want to know, President. Yeah.
Okay, this person call us on 0776 104 104 0776 104 104. We have the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustapha Raji, as our guest on the program. Let's get this person from here. Your name and where have you joined us from?
Yeah, my name is Abraham. I'm not joining on Chicken Saturday.
Welcome, Avi.
Yeah, first of all, let me say thank you to the honorable mayor. For me, I was born in the early 90s, and all of the time I've been coming on my first time to see football developing in our country like the way it's looking. So let me say a very big thank you to Mr. Raji.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say to the general public that the LFA and the government alone do not have to develop football. When you check what's suffering us also, the citizens don't support those various clubs. One guy made me say one time, he asked me, which team say I was boasting about Real Madrid. He said, you see, and they are putting more on the national team that they are asking. So he said, you see, you don't even support any of your local clubs here, and then you want your country football to develop. How do you think a lot of people in the country develop their football? So they will offer support the local clubs.
Okay.
Yeah,
All of us, we have a Liberian journalist who works for Front Page Africa newspaper. Giant, 2 minutes on the line. Giant, good afternoon and welcome.
Yes, Tom Kojo, thank you for your show and thank you to Mustapha Raji, the president of the LFA.
Go ahead.
How are you doing?
The president is doing good, Giant. Go ahead.
I listened to the president landscapely. He spoke about sweet stuff and what have you. But my concern has been drawn to one particular issue. The president talked about the investigation from the Honor 17 suspension, and he paid little attention to it. He said that the investigation is ongoing, and with the chairperson or the committee to investigate the issue, or the second vice president is a dodo. And when it comes to the issue of a shooter, where John was recently suspended, the president said you're under duress, you're under pressure from the Nigerian LFA.
But the president didn't say no. The president didn't say he was under pressure. The president said there was a communication between them
and CAF and Nigeria. No. That means they left the
Giant, the president is right here with me, my man.
Listen to me. I know. Listen to me, bro.
Oh,
the
God.
communication between Nigeria, the LFA, and that of CAF.
No.
What does that communication entails?
No, I never said
actually,
that.
the president is right here. He's saying that he didn't say it. I'm listening. Look at this person. Your name and where you join us from.
Oh.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon.
Let me say good afternoon to LFA President Mr. Mustapha Raji.
Go ahead.
This is the voice of Jacob Carter. I join you for the
Jacob, go ahead. All the time, my brother. All the time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead quickly. I don't have much to say. It's just to commend the president for his dynamic stewardship since he took over. Football is developing under his stewardship. I think he spoke lengthily, and let's lead the bad boy things in football.
Okay, look at this person. Hello. We have another Nigerian journalist from Front Page Africa. He's Francis Boy. Francis, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Greetings, Mr. President. Mr. President, we are following in terms of the infrastructure development you can carry on as president of the Liberia Football Association. Mr. President, I have two concerns. The one has to do with the exposure of our local players on the international scene. Do you have any program, or do you anticipate establishing any program that will help expose our local players to big things where we will have to see them play in major tournaments around the world? One thing. And the next one has to do with the issue you talked about. You're being reported at the same time, president of the Liberia Football Association has no conflict of interest. So, Mr. President, I really want to know, as per your bylaws, or constitution and the Labour Football Association. Is there anything of sort that talks about conflict of interest where it can be your own member or holding or big position within the LFA and not also involved with other working environment?
Okay,
So
Francis
that's
Boy. The president will respond to you. That take this very final person from here. Then we'll get back to all the time. Totally. This person, hello. This person, your name, where have you joined us from?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Kafa Conley. Good day, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yes, this is CPU Uncle Kaifa Conley. I want to say thank you for your job. Just be focused. Your step is strong. You know, people will say all other things, but just be focused. Since we start in football, you're the first LFA president to grab the football structure around here.
Okay,
So I want to say
thank you all the time. Mr. President, you listen
Okay,
to the callers.
Thomas,
I think we'll start with Francis Boyu of Front Page Africa talking about.
So maybe he's not following, and my apologies. I think we need to do more in terms of awareness. What I can tell you is that since we took over, we've engaged continuously with our partners out there. Today, we have 2 international training camps for our under 20, under 17 that should travel to Tunisia as a means of exposing our players. You also saw that we facilitated the travel of the U17 team to Austria at the expense of the LFA, not government funding. So these are things that we want to do. You saw national team traveling to Algeria. Players were scouted. Daniel Pay was scouted from there. You had another player that was Frederick that was also scouted during the process. So we want more Liberian players to go out there because that's the way we will be able to, grow more players. Unfortunately for my brother Jaime,
yes.
I think he's missed me. I hope that he will apologize if he wish to, not to put words into my mouth. I said I was attending the CHAN in Algeria. During the CHAN competition, we had the Nigerian FA president, who was also a member. We had the CAF teams there, and we saw this video on Facebook. It was on Facebook, and those girls were talking. And they engaged me because we were there. It was something that went viral. It's not something that was just like in the corner. What we did, I said, as the LFA, was to try to see how we could quiet the situation down. And later on, the first vice president, second vice president, who were in Liberia, worked along with the teams to quiet it down. We provided additional support to the girls. We bought food for them to address the situation because they are women. And I made specific emphasis. CAF is talking about safeguarding. And these are things people be talking about safeguarding because there were specific rights of those girls, okay, that were denied of. I did not say that I received communication. I did not discuss anything like that, the boss. And unfortunately, I think it would be nice because the way you started to say with his tweet whatsoever, it just showed that maybe you're a little bit.
And then Francis raised another issues about the conflict of interest. You talk about if there's a bylaw there.
Okay. Listen, Thomas, again, you can ask the past executive committee members. As president, when FIFA wrote, I was the very first person who signed. You can ask the then Secretary General Isaac Montgomery, the only person who signed the conflict of interest document and listing all related parties. I listed all of the companies that I'm connected to. At a point where we sat in a leadership workshop with UEFA, and I asked the UEFA team because you know what? Usually the employees end of the year party, they prefer to go to my farm. And I asked at some point that if they're allowed to go to my farm, it's not issue of conflict of interest. And one person will respect the law, and we have those on the books. And the funny part here, Thomas, is you are talking about Orange and talking about LFA. Our LFA law permit me to be president of the LFA and even be president of LISCA. I decided to resign from my own team because of all of these things. All right. So we should look at the issue, and I'm hoping that journalists can go to the LFA, can go to Orange, and find out the role I play. There is no conflict of interest, I believe. If there's any way that I will be conflicted, I recuse myself. And once I recuse myself from the process, how am I then conflicted?
And somebody raised you about the last time you went to D12, you spoke about the page. That is happening.
Okay. So you see, like I said, Thomas, this thing doesn't happen overnight. Today we go to D12, we agree that we want to come and do it. People here, we want to spend 10,000 to change the roof on D12. It's the same people have been singing songs. But it's a gradual process. We cannot just go invest FIFA money on D12. We have to get an MOU, sign, minimum 25 years. It's a long process. That's the reason why you see us starting a lot of these things and pushing to move forward. What I don't know if you give me a short time, I want to say thanks to the executive committee of the LFA. We've, during our last meeting, we canceled registration fee for all clubs in the country. First division, second division, no longer they pay registration fees. We've also submitted a couple of proposals that we take to Congress to ensure that those who are making the game beautiful, they should be represented. National Player Association should be represented at Congress. The Sport Medical Association should be represented at Congress. The 4 football zones should be represented. We started something new on our platform. We said we will develop beach soccer. We've played a beach league, beach soccer tournament. They should be represented at Congress as well. We believe that's the way to move our football and make it better. Another thing the executive committee approved was the purchase of equipment. As I speak, we have the first batch of equipment at the Freeport. We want to give football to each and every third division community league teams in Liberia. We believe it will help reduce the cost of the presidents. It also help in terms of supporting. And this process is not something that is going to be done this year, because now we've put it into the plan. Over the next cycle, from 2023 to 2026, the LFA will provide all third division community league teams in the country football, shingles, and other materials to support the football and to support the teams. So I'd like to say thank you, Thomas.
We're just going to a
I'd like to say thank you to you for giving me the opportunity for us to discuss football. We'll be always available to discuss the issues of football, be it in LFA, in Nimba, whatsoever. And just to say, I tell Vice President in Nimba to participate in the closing ceremony of the women's football. I'm happy and excited that today we have 11 leagues ongoing on our administration. In the past, well, you can look at that. So I'm happy, thankful to the executive committee, thankful to you, thankful to the fans, thankful to everybody who are supporting football. Those who are on the fence, I'm happy that you are on the fence and speaking about the ills in our football to make us stronger, to work in a direction and to develop football in our country. Thank you very much.
Mustapha Raji is the president of the Liberia Football Association. He been my guest here. We want to sincerely apologize. I think Mustapha is joining me to apologize to management for going additional 15 minutes into the time, but it was due to heated football discussion. Well, you know, when you have the president, you want to hear from him with everything. He comes with seriousness to inform you about what is happening in football. So on the dam, Thomas Kojorola, to have a very pleasant time. And that meet at the SKD's practice page, or maybe at the Tusafi. At the SKD's practice page is Jupiter versus Muska. Freeport versus Invisible 11 IE. That's the bottom clash. On the den, Baba.
Nana mamo, Bechibe Murio, Bessie Edio, Oya de Dia Omario, Yamini Lavo, Eje, Nana Boye. Mastro de bien, llevado nuevo, dice Mastro de bien, llevado cao, el onini Dios, el onini palo, me marimani epo, aye, se lo ni se de bien,
the only independent voice of Liberia. No allegiance to any political party, organization, institution, or individual. Freedom FM 87.9. your best choice.
Yeah, yeah. I sing any song for Panya, and I dance the dance for Panya. I will do anything for Panya, and I thank the Lord for Panya. Oh, what is my baby name? Oh, what is your baby name? I request for my baby girl. Panya scatter the floor from me. See, do you know my baby? Yeah? Her name is Panya, that in Africa lady. Hey, Panya, my Panya, they scatter my brain, yo. Beautiful lady, yo, that can Africa lady, yo. Hi, see, I sing in the song for Panya, and I dance in the dance for Panya, oh. Do anything for Panya, anything, yeah. And I thank the Lord for Panya. Hey, what is my baby name? Hey, what is your baby name? I request for my baby girl. Panya scatter the floor from me. She's my fire baby, baby, oh. She's my African lady, lady, oh. Panya sweet like a chocolate. When she come around, she heavyweight. She a dance, she a move, immediate, baby. Yeah, what is my baby name? What is your baby name? I just for my baby girl. Panya scatter the floor from me.
The only independent voice of Liberia. No allegiance to any political party, organization, institution, or individual. Freedom FM 87.9, your best choice.
What happened? Mama, you still do other air? No, let's still fire. Hey, y'all, my mother, I was passing up. What's it? Share, we are only done big.
For what a plan?
What tablet, man? What tablet?
No, point.
No, stop it. You can't do that. Are you a boy human being? Let me know that Rosafi. Let me know that Rosafi. You tell human being you're a boy human being. Let's stop the kind of thing. If we get or somebody commit crime in our community or whatsoever, take that to the law or carry that to the nearby police station and report that to the police. Let the police themselves investigate and find out whether or wrong. Yesterday I was coming from